Pokemon Home is getting released in 2 days and we are going to be getting so many new Pokemon. So, without wasting much time, let's have a look at the top 10 Pokemon returning in Pokemon Home. Valerian Slowking. After its release in Generation 8, Valerian Slowking, or popularly known as Glowking, was a huge part of the Generation 8 OU metagame. This Pokemon was the perfect definition of what is called a special tank, having the ability to check almost all special attackers in the game, which includes Choice Specs Dragapult to a certain extent. Glowking was a staple to balance and fat teams. Let's also admit, the Glowking had one of the most coolest designs. Similar to Mew, Glowking had a pretty diverse move pool with a lot of coverage and had an ability even broken than Mew. Regenerator is considered one of the best, if not the best ability in competitive Pokemon singles. Now coming in Generation 9, Glowking has access to a nasty weapon in its arsenal which it did not have and begged for it in Generation 8. Glowking has now access to Chill Reception, which lets it to set up snow and switch out from the battlefield. And given the fact that Glowking has a low base speed and the ability Regenerator, this is one of the best gifts Glowking has in Generation 9. If you think this is all, we are not even close. Glowking now gets access to Toxic Spikes, which makes it even more good and annoying. Now coming to its nerfs, it's not that big, but Glowking has lost Scald and Sludge Wave. I mean, Sludge Wave was not much used on Glowking to begin with, as Sludge Bomb is a much better option. However, losing Scald could have hurt it to a small impact, but not as much as you think, because it still has access to Hydro Pump and Ice Beam. Overall, I think that Glowking or Valerian Slowking came out a clear winner here and is going to be one of the most used Pokemon in Scarlet Violet Home OU tier. Basculegion. I am going to speak from a neutral perspective here, keeping the gender differences aside. Although Basculegion male and Basculegion female have different stats, I can say that both of these Pokemon are going to be very good. Water Ghost is an amazing offensive typing, and combined with adaptability, which Basculegion gets as an ability, both these genders are going to be hitting very hard. Although Last Respects has been pre-banned by the OU Council, both of these Pokemon get good stabs moves either way, like Shadow Ball, Wave Crash, Hydro Pump, and even Terra Ghost Blast, which fills up the spot really well. Both Basculegion male and female is going to be an amazing addition to the new Gen 9 home metagame for sure. Heatran. Literally the face of overused tier, this Pokemon has been one of the best ever to embrace the OU tier. Having one of the best typing in the form of Fire Steel and having some of the best abilities to go alongside, being Flash Fire and Flame Body, there is no doubt in my mind that Heatran is going to be a top tier OU threat in Generation 9. Heatran is coming back in Pokemon Home with almost a similar move pool as it had in previous gens. The only noticeable addition being Power Gem, and it loses out on Eruption and Roar. I do not think that this is going to impact much, as Heatran is still going to do what it does best. It is going to set up Stealth Rocks, it is going to burn Pokemon with Lava Plume or Will-O-Wisp and protect stall you with throwing some moves in between like Earth Power. Now, Sun being very popular, you might also see some offensive variants of Heatran, throwing some overstrong Sun boosted fire moves and being one of the most strongest special attackers with a relatively decent speed. Oh man, we can say that Heatran is going to be back with a bang. Ursaluna. This is the most overhyped Pokemon returning in Pokemon Home. There is a big reason to that as well. This Pokemon's stats, ability and move pool is extremely busted. The strongest physical attacker in the game combined with Gert's ability, and all of its moves are greater than 100 base power. Stab, Headlong Rush and Facade is going to one-hit KO everything after Gert's, regardless whether you resist it or not. However, despite its Goliath-like appearance, this Pokemon is not going to be as good as you thought it was. It is extremely slow, and ground normal type indicates that it is weak to some of the most common move typings in OU tier, being water, ice and fighting. And as I had said earlier, support for slow Pokemon like Trick Room and Sticky Wave is not very reliable. This Pokemon is going to be a very good one, no doubt about that, but earlier as we all thought that this Pokemon was going to be the best Pokemon in OU history, well, that's not going to happen. I also doubt whether this Pokemon will make the S rank. Regardless, the Papa Bear is going to be an extremely good addition in the OU metagame nonetheless. Enamorous. The fourth addition to the Landorus family, Enamorous is definitely going to be starting in the OU tier. Fairy Flying is an excellent typing and this Pokemon has amazing stat. I mean, it's from the Lando family after all. This Pokemon has an amazing move pool which includes and is not limited to Moonblast, Grass Knot, Focus Blast, Earth Power, Springtide Storm, etc. The biggest X factor of this Pokemon is that it can go either physical or special offensively. It gets Contrary as an ability and superpower in its move pool backed up by its base 115 attack. Enamorous is going to keep boosting and sweep teams on the get-go. Let's not forget that this Pokemon has a base 106 speed. Another Pokemon like Skeletors and Dondozo, which is a sure shot check to the physical superpower boosting Enamorous, risks getting baited and getting destroyed by Grass Knot and Earth Power respectively. After all, these attacks are coming from a base 135 special attack. This is going to be an amazing addition in Gen 9 and a very tricky Pokemon to play around. Regi Ilaki. I consider this Pokemon to be the best form of the Regi group. This Pokemon, despite not having extraordinary stats and move pool, was so dangerous that it forced the Generation 8 OU metagame to run a ground type on every team, and here is why. A Transistor boosted electric move would most likely one-shot a resisted Pokemon coming from a Regi Ilaki. Your only savior being a ground type Pokemon as it is immune to electric. The biggest letdown of this Pokemon was its move pool, which is limited to electric only. It gets a few other non-electric moves, but those are not viable at all. However, coming in Generation 9, Regi Ilaki is going to terrorize the whole OU metagame and that also getting only one buff. With the added feature of Terastallization and now getting Terra Blast, this Pokemon is going to Terastallize into Ice type and destroy the whole metagame. Not much to say, not much to do. I can surely say that this Pokemon is definitely going to be under the radar. Gilligan Hisui. This is the most hyped Pokemon returning in home, and why wouldn't it be? First of all, design wise, this Pokemon looks so good, and competitive wise, they have created a total beast out of the not so good Gilligan. Gilligan Hisui has a very offensive typing, backed up by an amazing offensive stats, having 105 points in both attack and speed. Not just this Pokemon also gets really cool abilities in the form of Chlorophyll and Hustle. I know using Hustle is considered self-sabotage, but I think that it's a sacrifice you can take while using Gilligan Hisui. If you think this was all, we are not even close. Gilligan Hisui gets a signature move called Victory Dance, which is just similar to Quiver Dance but in the physical side. The super strong Hustle Gilligan getting a +1 boost in its attack, defense and speed every time it goes for a Victory Dance can be a total nightmare to deal with. It also gets an amazing move pool which includes and is not limited to Ice Spinner, Axe Kick, Petal Blizzard and combined with Victory Dance. This Pokemon is going to be a top grade Pokemon in the OU tier, provided Hustle doesn't sabotage you. Gliscore. Yep, our boy is back. Is it just me or does this Pokemon always look so chill? We all know how good Gliscore is in terms of both design and competitively. After all, come on, it's a flying scorpion. Gliscore, although not released back in Generation 8, was one of the top giants in Gen 7 OU. Gliscore was used on every style of team like offense, balance, stall and would always put in that enormous amount of work. Now in Generation 9, Gliscore makes a big entry, one of the few Pokemon which has no nerves. Similarly, Gliscore hasn't been buffed much, however the little buff it got is going to be a game changer. Gliscore now has access to spikes, which takes its defensive capabilities to a whole new level. Not only Gliscore can knock, rock and stall you, but it can also set up all forms of hazards including Stealth Rock and Spikes and get momentum by going for the U-turn. Imagine a U-turn hazard stack momentum Gliscore paired with a Goldengo. Sounds pretty cool, right? All I can say is that Gliscore is going to give a tough fight to Landorus and Great Tusk for that S-rank spot. Urshifu. The day this Pokemon was released, it completely changed how the OU metagame was played. Let's start one by one. Urshifu Single Strike. The offensive beast with a tremendously dangerous typing and stats made it one of the scariest Pokemon in the OU tier. If you think type and stats is all, then wait till you hear this Pokemon also got a signature move. In fact, this signature move was so broken that it led this Pokemon from getting banned from the OU tier. Wicked Blow is a stab dark type move of 80 base power which has a 100% chance to get critical hit. Coming out from a Pokemon which has 130 base attack, this move was a nightmare for OU players to switch into. As a result of this, it was deemed too broken for the OU tier and was thus banned from the OU tier in the Ubers tier. Now coming in Pokemon Home, this Pokemon got some buffs and nerfs. Let's talk about the buffs at first. This Pokemon now gets access to the moves Swords Dance, which takes its offensive potential to brand new heights. Also, this Pokemon now gets Trailblaze, which is a good way to increase its speed and also having a grass type coverage. Imagine a Pokemon with 130 base attack getting access to Swords Dance and Trailblaze. Pretty broken, isn't it? Now coming to the nerfs, its signature move Wicked Blow has been reduced from 80 to 75 base power. Well, that's about it comparatively. This Pokemon lost superpower, but when you have close combat in your arsenal, who cares? To sum it up, I think Urshifu Single Strike came out as a clear winner here despite the nerfs. Do let me know in the comments if you think Urshifu Single Strike is going to get banned in Gen 9 OU as well. Now let's talk about Urshifu Rapid Strike, the water counterpart of the devastating Shifu group. This Pokemon, unlike its twin brother, did not get to see much usage in the early stages of the metagame. Its brother kind of shadowed its usage. However, as the metagame developed, things totally changed for the water fighting bear. It quickly adapted to the metagame and became a prominent force in the OU tier. Not only did it have an amazing water fight typing with great offensive stats, however, it also got a signature move which it totally deserved. Surging Strikes is a water move of 25 base power which always crits on being used. However, this move hits 3 times. Coming out from a Pokemon with base 130 attack, Surging Strikes did not have a lot of switch-ins. Due to this, Urshifu Rapid Strike was a sheer force in the OU tier. Now coming to Pokemon Home, similar to its brother, it got all the buffs which Urshifu Single Strike got, like Swords Dance and Trailblaze. However, the best part is, its signature move Surging Strikes did not get nerfed. I think Urshifu Rapid Strikes, despite not getting nerfed enough, it's still gonna be super duper hit in the Pokemon Home OU. However, I can't say the same about its twin brother. All I can say is that the Shifu twins is going to have a great impact in the Pokemon Home metagame. Magena. Oh boy, where do we start? This Pokemon has been responsible for destroying a lot of careers since the day it was released, and in Generation 8 it was becoming a total nuisance such that it was banned from the OU tier. One of the best typing, backed up by amazing stats both offensively and defensively, and also a Mew-like Pokemon having access to almost every move in the game, there is no doubt in my mind that Magena is going to ban in the first month of release in Pokemon Home. Gen 9 has buffed Magena even further. It has now access to Spikes, Psyshock, Therablast, backed up by its Soul Hurt ability. Moves that it lost are Misty Explosion and Steel Roller, which was never ever used. This is going to be a no-skill Pokemon coming in Generation 9, seeing a very high usage in the first week itself and eventually going to get quick banned or publicly banned via voting. All we can say is that Gert is going to be a menace in Gen 9 as it was back in Gen 8. So friends, these are the top 10 Pokemon returning in Home according to me. If you see that, I have not included any Uber Pokemon as I specialized in the overused singles tier, so Uber Pokemon are not allowed in that OU tier. Let me know in the comments what your top 10 is and share your thoughts on this returning Pokemon as well. And please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as we are on the road to 10k. So let's hit that road soon. And also, I will see you soon in the next video. So stay safe, take care, and peace, my dear friends.